Welcome to the Anti-Partisan Network. This is Johnson. Welcome. This is a house of common sense. So, after recent events, I've been trying to wonder the reason why Yankasa president beat me after playing Uncle China. Maybe China for their enemies. Me the son of home. So I've been wondering the reason why Papa will say Beko. Aqua announced to the entire world. I be celebrity say China for me friendship or because of say they are offering us money. You have never thought about it. Like the money, is it free or does it come with a condition? And if the money is free, why would China give money free? I think China for almost get free. Like, and I say, are they doing it to the rest of the world? Like, my country, BS Ghana, say Ghana, like, are we special? Like, what is going on? So I've been wondering. Me video being an mistake say boldly say every country should try and depend on itself. You are given resources and you are given responsibilities as positions as our leaders. And to me himself, our responsibilities now their mom. They will exercise that power. No ma apply nanka knowledge kakana no since it's a democratic country. You between manage resources, not the resources now by any other country will be jealous of. Remember the minimum can say production need progress, independent and growth. I think that's how it works. I thought. And I said that is the traditional definition of it. And I'm moving forward in life. That means that you have to encounter problems. That means you have to solve the problems. That means you have to learn. When you learn the experience so that you can apply it to different problems. So you see your life becomes easy. The first time I encounter problem, it was difficult to solve, but then you solved it. You learn from it. That experience. Anytime I meet the same problem, it becomes easy. And the reason why it's like all the time we are trying to depend on a different country to sort of like solve our problems for us. Or we maiska, now we maiska left and right. Intermediate to my curiosity, meaning I'm YouTube and I'm some video. I think one of them was excellent and that's having kind of a highly agreeable YouTubers or more Ghana. One of the videos I think in Nipano or striking me as an investigative journalist because the findings now put it together in the video now and then now all can. One, he's talking from experience, and a two, or backing by fact, and a three, common sense just say unpack. And if this is a house of common sense, Nase may wonder about it be confusing me. That's my common sense material there. Then I don't think many viewers and let's get on to the video.
You need to understand this. Under no circumstance would you dare do this in China, no matter what you have or the permit you hold, whether as a citizen or a foreigner. It is literally impossible, ladies and gentlemen. The Chinese government will skin you alive, whether it is a licensed small-scale mine or an illegal Galamsey mine, or even if it falls within the confines of a large-scale mine. You could never do this in China and get away with it in 24 hours. The system will locate you. It will fish you out and throw you into jail before investigations begin. But here we are. They are doing it in Ghana. I lived there for years, and trust me when I tell you, not even a Chinese police officer carries a gun. Therefore, under no circumstance would you have access to these types of guns in China for any reason.
But you see that it's a very funny thing. As I said earlier, that's why I said that it's confusing for him, because it's almost as if China for them they come here and then they do it. Like why and more? Who gives them that opportunity? Now, meaning senior might be a friend of Marcelo. On the car say, was Mr. Johnson? He say China ni no no tin chrome. Then who say go to Bishop Boase into Obabi too. So Tia said, them will be a son and sir, at in the buy. Yet the country will say, and a China for 18 years to go was as serious almost say and sassy. I cost us for a very long time. That is one thing. Yes, I'm consider another thing. Send ECG loans every China for chain. The kind of foreign relationship I know for me. Send a China for some way, Emma Iska. And the one yes, says can almost they like they are trying to like fight their way into our lands just to take our gold. Unya sure it is related. These two things. I'm not saying that they are. It's just a theory. But you see, that is the law of correlation. If they happen hand in hand, if this one is causing this, then this one is the causative organism of this effect. So, yeah, let's continue.
You couldn't even have access to a small firearm for any reason, let alone a pump action. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, having a group of Chinese nationals, having almost 10 of them on one site, just one site. How many sites do they operate in Ghana, and how many of such guns are in their possession? They don't speak English nor any of our local languages, ladies and gentlemen. They have no idea where to go in Ghana without a Ghanaian leading the way. Yet they have successfully infiltrated our system from the very top to the bottom. They know almost every relevant security head, every top security head, their names and private numbers. They know where they live and the gifts they like. That's how they are able to move comfortably around doing illegal mining. They invest money in creating connections with people at the very top, even if it requires getting to the president. They live like kings in Ghana for the fact that they have top government officials on speed dial. And when you put them to the tests, they'll prove you wrong. They'll prove to you that in 1 minute, when they call that top person in Ghana, the person will answer. I know this because they've proven it to me countless times. Meanwhile, people who actually queued and voted for these people cannot have access to them. Ladies and gentlemen, they know our security systems are broken.
Seriously, as a guy, like, I can relate to it, or it doesn't even make sense. Maybe tell them say, maybe to me for MPB and minister, me name female. Like me message Department of Ministry of Education. Me omuko female, they won't mind me. By China, ni beti me afafo. No afraid government official. Friend Ghanaian guy within 10-20 minutes. Yeah, ba chino. And you say bia, adena nipa na ye na the papa no ba supporting you. Or ya the point something that person is not supposed to do on foreign soil. Foreign soil. No embassy included, no diplomatic affairs, no proceedings, nothing. Nani pane yes hadi way so cause some environmental terrorism way. Near Timia saving a life. Just like that. Bam. The one who say I see woman be a chaser, Aisha one who said there. You say a chain, you say you're deporting, bam, just like that. Bam. Obi go kwa kuya di onima, yebecheni apunaku. You understand? And he say me sometimes they am say me my yanka scientist once said the way we treat ourselves. That is how people see that to be the normalcy. Like if we don't value our lives or we do not value like our opinions. Other countries too, they are going to treat us the same because they think that is how we do things. They don't want to offend us. It is a pemoasewa almost no more the more same libidi. Present Papa will say, etimi foreign affairs, play games. I will make a video about Kwesi Pratt. Okotena Metro TV so can say on. Winner Mahama, China for Ghana or Demai. Why are their pass or Koji? Now or compare Ghana to Sky America for Demai, chicken change, and in America for they don't respect us. So say, yes, China for Nisika. By we share these two relationships that we have with these two countries are very unhealthy. Our relationship with the Americans is built on the principle that we and Kasana, we don't value ourselves. So how we treat ourselves, that's how they treat us. We do not respect ourselves. So that is how they are not showing respect to us. And China for also tried, since they are not allies with the Americans, since they are also only America for no going to be Oma pretend they say they are our friends. And Omani like Omo offer deal beer a kind of say your friend fool's good. I to say a block stone I gold paint I found. Because a gold but a stone. And no money that kind of deal. On my mouth says scam, but at the end, then no be in return. Say China need baby. That's what you product 10 cities. That's what the product 10 cities ni now water. Who do you seek 10 cities ni mano? Who is to product earpins and that's within 3 months say yeah, or 10 cities no ashe. Some 10 cities now what demand on what the quack investment. And that's what sounds the quack produce another earpiece. As I about a joke 10 cities. Until within 1 year, so we used to earpiece back could be another 3 months as a year. We bet me used to earpiece Makuma 3. Until Shah would have one watching his car for free. The China Ninkas were no year juma. And a papa kai. The China Ninkas were no year juma. Omum enforcing more who. So their law, it works for them. They are a socialist country. It's like one big group with one leader. That's how it works. So they pay the government to say, government in a year, you man, and yesterday they expect anything from the government too. It's a group. They contribute to the government. The government do something for everybody. Like their system is quite different from ours. Yeah, they are no. Won't me no your friends. And just because of say America for a treaty, say or they don't treat that with respect, we are trying to like sort of justify our friendship with China, saying America for a bully China for in the sense they are not treating our respect in TNC for me allies. But once you do not know the full story, you understand the reason why America for a bully China, America for bully China, China for whom they bully America for. Omuno send spies, omuno leak information, omuno poison omunsu, omuno really say yariwa kese bebias. It's meaning the reason why I wo beti after nyama I koso nyai. Ubeti asese and now say ube deduce this understanding say into America for a bully China for. And so therefore since also America for looking down you to only China for a form relationship. If you say that to me, it's a weak argument. But then again, that is the argument that they are presenting. So that's what I said that I will make another video because the part called use I think so called radio na Kwamsi Fakane radio station so apart from the Metro TV appearance radio so called Kwamsi Fakane station so now or can't it's really after that video we say that will be the next video I will make. I want you to watch that video too because I don't want to make all the review here. I will make the certain review over there too. In the same Messia defining China. China for more relationship with them. I will say the whole thing, so the whole thing will make sense in the Kwesi Pratt video. So let's continue and absorb this information from our honorable.
And the heads are corrupt. They know they can have their way on literally anything they want in Ghana if they talk to the right person. That's why they are seen in the forest working every day with military protection. They can mine on a 25-acre land in only 3 days. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what I said. And to those who understand or know surface mining, they know what I'm saying.
3 days.
These Chinese, they have enough excavators to mine alluvial gold on a 25-acre land in only 3 days. 3 days and night, non-stop. So by the time news get to town of the activities, they are done and dusted. They are gone. And they live on tip-offs, ladies and gentlemen. That's how fast they deplete our lands. And they hate reclamation no matter how small the land is. They mine, take the gold out and move to the next location, leaving behind large trenches and large pits from Sehui all the way to the Tiwa forest, to the far ends of our border towns. They hide there and mine. They are doing it every day. That's what's happening in Ghana. They come from a country where laws are enforced to the dot. But when they arrive here and they see the lack of love and patriotism for our nation and the absence of law enforcement, they just go off.
They take advantage.
They become more ruthless than our own local Galamseyers, ladies and gentlemen. They cut down cocoas and trees and mine even before farmers will get to their farm. They are simply unafraid and unperturbed about any kind of consequence because they know that in the worst case scenario, ladies and gentlemen, they will make their way back to their home country unscathed. And they hate people like me who speak and understand their language. Ladies and gentlemen, they would normally stop conversating when they see people like us come around. Ghana's sovereignty is under attack, ladies and gentlemen, and both political parties are heavily involved.
Then into Chinese now much, but you can see how they are also invading our culture too. Because school is Chinese, no any other language, Chinese. Like a Kahubi, it is part of I think the liberal courses. So I do not know the reason why any China for was that kind of relationship, but me it weirds me out. Like it's becoming too much. If the only reason why we are going to them is so that they can develop our country for us, I think we can do that already. Like wants to say, like we haven't found our value or the merit upon which that we can confidently say that we can develop or produce for our country. We haven't had that discovery. But I still believe in as small. Me started believing in the fact that there will be a change. I think it has been 10, 11 years now. Since I'm started 7 years, I believe. A lot of people, me started, no, the country will never change. Like, I do not know the reason why we want to forget everything that has happened in the past and sort of like, the now reality as the whole reality. Like, I don't know why. So I think we keep on repeating the same history because you have to look back. We have to look at it, learn from it, and then try to like do something different from it, from where we made mistakes. But say, hey, I won't say any man and for so be and so you say abeful. Hey, you move cause over crashing, over pim. So you step back small. Still now, I'm still very big into the old ways of doing things. Like Mimi Philly said, in a household, the father should be the leader, the mother plays the supporting role. The children they should obey their parents like at all times. I still believe in that. And to Mimi Gidi said, if we can sort of like reference to some of the traditional ways of things, I think give it to me. I use common sense. I interpret it say because anyone might be waste of time. Or you bet me at phone so we me phone so like what is the point of that? Phones were not made to sort of like isolate people. It was made to connect people. For phone now baby na say why alone there. What the free will be. But to say phone na be adibia obi ekuta no or the akwashe one corner. So phone has isolated people. The job, the intended purpose of it to socialize people, it has made people antisocial. Like, so we cannot just sit there and be like abefo. To say I feel near baby as for. So I say, if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. It's meaning the reason why these people they are forming this kind of weird foreign relationship with these countries. Like I don't understand. Perhaps you have everything that you need. You hear that realization, that discovery, that sort of like belief in yourself, so you can do it. That is all. Maybe that's what I think Ghana is lacking. Let's continue.
Our right to defend what we have and stand for is under attack. When you live in China as a foreigner, especially as a black man from Africa, there are rules you have to immediately follow to avoid an arrest. Ask any African. First of all, you must walk into the nearest police station to where it is close to you, where you rented your apartment, and register yourself with your passport and declare your reason for staying there. You must state clearly what you do for a living and have your details taken down. Every year, when you renew your visa, and that is if you are able to renew your visa, you have to do that registration process again. This is their standard practice, ladies and gentlemen. And when that is done, you walk around in town knowing very well that on any given day, no matter where you are, there is a CCTV camera somewhere watching over you. I lived there in Chongqing for nearly 5 years, and not one time did I ever see a police officer walk around with a gun. Yet the people live in peace because they fear the ruthlessness of their laws and wouldn't dare break in. Yet, see what they are doing in our country. What kind of laws do we have here for Chinese people who engage in Galamsey in Ghana? Specifically for Chinese people. Because they are the number one foreign culprits always caught up. So what laws do we have for them specifically? Because that is what they would have done. If this country were serious like China, the punishment will start from 20 years in jail, and it will be written boldly in Chinese language at our international airport.
But also, you see, this solution only makes sense if you don't want to like sort of actively solve the problem, because I think the problem is just simple. It's just simple. They are foreigners. They are on foreign soil. They should not have the rights of citizens. Like who point here say the kwa ko airport say oh yeah China ni na mind here but yeah like just enforce the law. That is all. When yes happen or they will piss themselves. And when here say obe making conditions and I say obe providing room as a person also so much so now o say kwa ko waste scanner o dey kwa ko print no just enforce simple by on say as I said say it's simple. It's not that simple because of the position that they have put themselves like because of these foreign affairs and relationships now mo kwa starting to see any panel so nyama o scanner o gia maybe they're in America. I do not know the relationship between Sikana China for them, the government, like the Chinese government's role in mining in Ghana. Like I do not know that. But what I know is the Ghana government is taking money from the Chinese government, like for without providing any other services. I do not know. They are just giving them money. It could be a loan. It could be a lease. It could I do not know, but they are giving them money. No country does that. You understand? But as they are giving them money, also this is also going on. Like we have Chinese people who have bought their ways into officials and government officials and positions and departments and can some way somehow sort of cause environmental terrorism and get away with it. Like this is also happening. So it's difficult for me to not sort of like connect these three things together. Like Ghana, our relationship with the Chinese government and the Chinese Galamseyers in Ghana, and also their connection to the government officials. So you see, say as the Ghana government is connected to the Chinese government is also connected to the Chinese Galamseyers because they are Chinese, they are China, they are come from there. But you see, say there's no really tight connection between the Chinese government and the Chinese Galamseyers, except for the fact that the Chinese Galamseyers, they are also connected to the Ghana government official. Like they have people in there. And these are the same people who are also dealing, I do not know, with 100% fact or proof. But it's possible that because they are government officials, and so the government is also dealing with the Chinese. So I'm sure there are some clashes of conflict of interest with this triangle of relationship. I cannot find a way to sort of correlate each other to each other 100%. But you can see the relationship here. It's a triangle. The Chinese government, the Chinese Galamseyers, and then the Ghana government officials. Like you have to see a relationship there.
That is how you send the message, ladies and gentlemen. You write it boldly, stating the prison term for when you are caught on any mining site, ladies and gentlemen. Boldly at the Kotoka International Airport and our state websites. That's what they do in China, ladies and gentlemen, in their country, at bus stations, airports, and train stations. And they mean every letter of it. You must understand that in order for a Chinese person to leave his home country and do illegal mining in a foreign country, he is already a hardened criminal, I tell you. There is no way a modern day educated Chinese man or woman will leave a major city to anywhere in Accra or Ghana or in Africa. Impossible. It will never happen. When they see all these opportunities in their own home country and better options in Western countries, no modern day educated Chinese will do that. They will never. Therefore, any Chinese national who makes that trip is a hardened criminal ready for whatever it comes with. That is who they are. And I know I'm 100% correct on this. Therefore, you don't treat such people with kid gloves under no circumstance. You meet them with brute force and make your stance clear from the onset. But that hasn't been the case so far in Ghana. Instead, they know that the worst that can happen is being flown back to their home country, like the government of Ghana did earlier this year. Ladies and gentlemen, they rather want to know every significant politician in Ghana. They dine with politicians and help them get visas, Chinese visas for themselves and girlfriends, and also open doors to them in the Chinese market. They are able to convince ministers of state and MPs with mere smartphones, ladies and gentlemen. Ordinary smartphones open doors for them in Ghana. These are the issues to discuss, and not the...
Is the Ghana government trying to form a relationship with the Chinese government so that they can utilize their access to the Chinese market to sell gold? Is that what they are doing? No, I don't think so. Let's continue. That would be dangerous.
Games people are playing on the media, the traditional media especially. I watch MPs talk and I shake my head in shock every time. Hypocrites who have no love for this country. They only come to use the country to make money, and that's it. The Chinese people know perfectly well that what they are doing is wrong and not permissible
They know.
in their country.
They know.
They know they are destroying nature, and that's not how it is done. But our own people, led by our politicians, give them the go ahead, and that is how they are destroying our country. And this is how I know. All the concessions they work on are owned by Ghanaians. Every one of them. There is not a single small-scale mining company that is owned by a non-Ghanaian. It is not allowed by the Minerals Commission. And so, it's all owned by locals, and the locals grant them permission to go.
And yeah, we know the Becca Constitution won't say we legalize small scale mining. Then what? Then the what? Because Mimi himself, after or more achieve or more freedom and independence or more permanent for now. And mining companies like Kesena Newa, and I think it was headed by Mbrofu and Ase Bibisa. And more ethical constitution will say, since big scale mining companies, foreign based companies, then they are trying to provide opportunity for the citizens of the country. So they are trying to provide opportunity. That means that DBL course for say the citizens of the country are not taking part. So they are trying to provide an opportunity for the citizens of our country. So they legalize small scale mining. Said the Bay Ghana for now IMC in this camp. You beat me IEP. But mind you, mining has regulations, and regulation too comes with costs. If that means if you want to keep everything in line. It is since you are a small scale mining, oh yeah, basa. Into one person one chair say, oh, sir, small scale miners and no more cost and your man I cost work and see. But one will say, I said no. I am straight to the point, say, oh, me show them how this development came to be. Because let's just continue.
And mine on those lands. If we therefore start prosecuting people, we have to start from the owners and not just the Chinese. Let me blow your mind with how Chinese government punish offenders of said.
If say the big mining companies, if it was owned by Ghanaians, yeah, okay, that makes it. If the concession, the land is sold by another companies, because if the companies were owned by Ghanaians there, then what is the point of also legalizing small scale mining? But let's continue. Because I don't think that's what's going on.
In some provinces in their country. Let me blow your mind. If, for instance, you are an armed robber and you are caught and prosecuted in court and given the death penalty, which usually happens in like 1 week, this is what they do to you. The bullet that will be used to gun you down, the bullet, will have to be paid for by you, the convicted felon, or by your family. It isn't free. And they have a standard price for each bullet. You buy 2 bullets to be used to gun you down, or else the government may confiscate a valuable of your family if there is any. Ladies and gentlemen.
Say China. So, that's a bullet there, they shoot two. Who now was out of a one as our family. Someone just guy, I'm going to find TV and now we be on their bullet to the car. Hey, I don't want to me from Mukumba and say, a baby say assassin. A baby cause terrorism. You're told them I show. And a government official snipping for no Jessica, a good buto, without caring about the country. If this is okay with you, it's okay. We are all here, we are all spectators, we are just watching. I do not have any authority. Maybe a common sense now, maybe say media because we trusted these people, and then we sort of like believe in them to keep us safe. We believe in them to keep order. We believe that we have established a system that was established on truth, so that everything is consistent. So there's dependency on that system. But I just say it's almost affiliated to chaos. So it's now left to one kasa no. You are responsible for yourself to play the government role in your own life. You understand? The government has a role that is supposed to play in every citizen's life. And then the citizen too must be responsible for their own life. But right now, you have to do the two of them. At the same time, while you are paying respect to the government too. So it's almost as if the government, system, yeah, he doesn't have to do anything, but everything goes to him. It's the same kind of relationship that our government seems to be forming. They are forming relationship that I think it's like their relationship that they are forming with the foreign countries is like is treating us the way that, like they are being treated like the way that they are treating us. They do not treat us in the way that we deserve to be treated, like as citizens, as people with voice or opinions. I think they just do anything anyhow because they just want the profit. And so now the foreign countries have seen how they treat its people. So now they are treating them the same way. They are deceiving them and using tactics and games and playing with their mind and changing their positions anyhow. They are making them look like like there's a reason why I don't person make because if I do that, I will not have a lot of content for that video. So let me just continue and finish this video.
The laws are tough. The bullet to finish you isn't free. They do this to deter others of even thinking of embarking on that journey. And that's how one leader is able to rule over 1.4 billion people.
1.4 billion.
And guess what we do to them? We put them on plane and send them back home because we can't live without Chinese loans. How do you expect the problem to end? In the peak of government fighting illegal mining, how does these Chinese men still have the effrontery, the bravery to go to work? How? Does this show to you that they are in fear for any repercussions or for anyone in this country? They fear nobody. This is getting out of hands, folks. And someone has to take charge now, or else the worst will hit us very soon. I've told you. I'm Cyrus, and thanks for watching. Do me a favor. Bye.
You better, Mr. Cyrus, right now, I'm sitting here, I'm shaking. I'm scared. Because if this is the direction, then I am afraid, I don't think next generation, we are going to have an easy job cleaning things up. I have to admit to that. Maybe if you ask me whether or not China is evil or good, I cannot tell you with 100% evidence and answer in good judgment because I am not in that position to make that call. Me assure say everything that China is doing is for their own survival. China has done well. China has done excellent and exceptional job. They have done so well that their capital has become a country on its own. Hong Kong is a country on its own. So China is actually now two countries. It is two countries with two capital countries. Capital towns. Like you have to understand. Hong Kong has become so big and developed that it has become a country on its own apart from China. So now Beijing is the capital of China. Like you have to understand. So Hong Kong too has become a country and now it has its own capital. That is where China is going. China is very industrious. Anytime I start talking or I make a review or I react to a video, all the time my emphasis is we should go back to the traditional way of doing things. The traditional way of doing things just means that you just go as far back as possible to where you made your first mistake and then build from there forward. So you realize that as you solidify your foundation, your base, you start building on top of it in a solidified manner as well as you started. You are going to have a structure which is erected, strong, and which is going to represent your effort. That's what I mean by when I say traditional means. I still believe in doing things that way. Apart from now we are decorated. Oba ne ho nya fe kra no akoye makeup nya de na no afa. I don't think minum ye ni nyina ye pesa. Ye nyina ye natural. Obi a natural, you be oba or natural things. Nobody wants artificial things. Share your more real no obi an pesa adam. Omo pesa adam they just pretend. Some girls near film am candy. Ye de ni pia montin de ne kwachele. Emfa na nya bibia. Kakra na wo mla no baby no mo se bia de be kon tokwa ofie saa. Just because of say or no feel say wabaso. Wabaso means new bwana. that means that the old way of doing things. If the old way of doing things is oba be respecting kuna na ne partner na oba respectful and obedi no kra, the new way nature say it goes against the old way into wabaso. Into me yeah me suggest say we should go back and to the traditional way. Say China for what's be industrious to the point say omo capital probably be separated into a country. I think say if that's the obvious answer. Every country one person may develop that. They do it through industrialization or be industrious. Dubai did it. Or BIEP. Everybody did it. And about pay or see Dubai for woman ni bibiao. Adi omu wae anya ensuo and oil. Asa. These are the only three things Dubai have. But should be money now. To the point say you have everything. I can possibly tell you that Ghana, the land is so rich. You have everything. But it's left with management, the human resources part, the believing in each other part. The moment I buy because mean cram machines in free baby. Yanka say for so machines. A coin benny before so. Okay, your resources. Mumayemfa pickers, any other ye kwakutu. Maybe I'm just assuming say first now CCIS excavators, even CCIS excavators. But if say Kebe use traditional means, that's what I'm trying to say. Moment for ye pickers near the new kunkutu. Say ye kukutu here, ye be bread. By on the process I kukutu and buying the befast so I imply a month for befast when ye jumaye. And within that a hona ye best ye babe starting mining hona. Ye babe mining, ye minia, ye quacoton. Say 1 year crown ye dibinya 1 pound of gold where ye pay by force. Ye de near dinny any bread ye. We will do everything naturally, we do it traditionally, we do it ourselves. Say to me, cotton we are it is scanner, a barber ye be before. Say a machine, ya the barber, the barber ye. The pace will be to say, you suffer near the man or the machine, or the eye bit me 2 mile and easy. Any faster, you turn faster, I bet me starting dash for say any robber. Yes, I know. Along the way, I imply a mouthful, imply a mouthful. The amount for nyansa ni ndio omoko school kokosunya ni ejusu ya nkasa na na ehe bibia enti mimi him the reason why I be fact playing akobe be country for say ye kwa kopemwa ye kwa koyise ye kwa na odende will be dictating our future for us na niema yankasa ye kwa odwene ho antiase bia nim na China foot Ghana no mu kum Ghana fo e wa ba on what China nke etuo sikan kwanko ntimi nya bi nkuta enti ye beda ye senior man yase na ya individual nti this is the Anti-Partisan network be subscribe am na the video na make am want some practice there no over shaka ho because I think any man na make am no be person obeti nti as usual I'm not branding myself to be some kind of intelligent person and I say obi a co school in school am co school e anywhere I think first degree apem UCC no aro by common sense there obi a common sense se titi wo fie nko ade a enti se ye hwe niam na omo ye no na se ye de fie nyansa to ho a nyansa wo mu ana enti manuasi me di besia